Hey, hi. I am making a video today about New Egypt. Yes, in case you didn't know, there really is a town in New Jersey, and I said this on the other video, called New Egypt. Of course, when my mom first said it, I was like thinking we were going over to Africa. The way my life was going, who knew, right? But New Egypt is in New Jersey, and it's not too far, for point of reference for people on the East Coast. It's not too far from the Six Flags, the great big Six Flags in Jackson, New Jersey. Not too far. Same exit on the turnpike, I think. Pretty sure exit 7A is it. And not too far from the beach, from Jersey Shore. Okay, and I already asked you guys, please don't judge the Jersey Shore. Somebody texted me and said, hey, how about talking about the Jersey Shore? And so I thought I talked a little bit about it, but I'll talk about it again because it was pretty near where I lived as opposed to when we were in North Jersey. It was a long ride. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Seaside, not too long, but Seaside Heights was it. I mean, that was it. All through my childhood, my grandmother always rented a bungalow, and we went crabbing. And I didn't talk too much about the crabbing part, but that was so fun. We'd have a bungalow in Seaside, but not too far from there in Brick Township. I'm not even sure it was called Brick back in that period of time. It might have all still been part of Tom's River. But we would go crabbing, and I've got to tell you, I'll talk a little bit about the boardwalk at Seaside Heights in a little while, but crabbing for a little kid, amazing. Those baskets full of crabs trying to get out, and then they close them. But night crabbing, okay, like you don't throw the traps in like you do during the day. They turn on the car floodlights, like, high beam, and the crabs will come up to the top because they think it's daytime, I guess. I don't know. And then, like, somebody very crafty and skilled will take the net and just scoop them. I mean, this is not just trapping and catching. This is skill. And a couple of times as I got older, I was allowed to do it. It was a blast. And it's like, if you move just a little jerk down to the bottom, and then my dad had an extra big light, and it was on like a battery kind of pack, and he would shine it and try to help me catch them. But, I wasn't good at it. I wasn't steady with it. So they would, I'd get pushed out of the way, even though it was exciting. So, okay. In Seaside, we'd stay in a bungalow about 2 blocks away from the beach because anything closer to the beach was like really expensive. In the morning, we'd get dressed and, just shorts on top of our bathing suit. And the Pancake house, like, was 1 block away from the beach. Not even really, because the boardwalk was right there. So it was the boardwalk and then the beach. So it's really close. Anyway, there was this Pancake house, and what they would do is they would open the whole wall. It would, from the floor, I don't know, they might have had like some kind of pulley or something, and the whole wall would just come up, and then the stools would be right there, and they'd be making pancakes. Oh my God, there is nothing like smell of salt air, being in your flip-flops and sitting at a counter and mowing down on some pancakes that are just cooked right there, right in front of you. It was kind of like the food truck now. There was everybody had tiny little businesses. There was no big show-off stuff except a few things on the boardwalk. But all the little mom and pop stores were there, and literally the entire wall came up, and I guess they tied it off or whatever. Okay, so then after you had your breakfast, you got to go right to the beach. And there was a little stand there where you paid. I don't remember. It wasn't that expensive back then. I'm sure it's really expensive now. People say, you paid to go to the beach? Yeah, because they brought in fresh sand. They cleaned it. They had paid lifeguards, and it was amazing. It was beautiful. So we go on the beach, and they stamp you with something, I don't know. And every 2 inches you smell Coppertone. It's the salt air, the sand in your toes, and the smell of Coppertone. There's nothing else. Except for looking for a bathroom for those pancakes. In Seaside, there's a great big public restroom, and they used to have little showers outside for your feet. You couldn't do a whole shower, but you could kind of rinse off before you went, back to the bungalow. So on the beach, and a lot of people don't get this that kind of like have more space. But in New Jersey, at the beach, you were like right next to people. But it didn't matter because the key was get to the water, get that spot right in front where you can build sand castles and make friends. And I don't know what it was, but you could make a friend in the water. You just look over, see somebody close to your age bobbing up and down. Really cool waves there. We could ride the waves like a little bit, like no big surfer in Hawaii, but we did like have body surfing kind of little bit. You could get a thrill out of it. You get them in about this high. And when I think about the movie Jaws, okay, I realized that maybe being in that high wasn't a great idea, and especially in New Jersey, because the original Jaws that happened did not happen up in Cape Cod area. It happened in New Jersey several years prior, where this one shark was attacking people on the beach. And that's what the movie was based on, a New Jersey shark attack. So me being in the water up this high, maybe not a great idea. But everybody was there, and we were riding the waves, and I'd stayed in the water until my hands were pruny. And it was like supposedly lunchtime, maybe 2 in the afternoon. I still didn't want to get out of the water. I didn't want to, and I'd run back real quick, have to, run up to the restroom and get right back down the beach. I didn't care how close people's blankets were. I wasn't there to lay down. Then the best part of Seaside, well, besides getting sunburned because your Coppertone wore off, the best part was that night and went back and we hung all our bathing suits out on line outside. The shower was kind of outside. It was not an indoor shower. There were bricks around it, but everything was right there in the little backyard you had. It was sort of like a driveway, not a backyard. Hang up your bathing suits, get dressed. Grammy gives you a couple of bucks, or dad or whoever's around, and you get to go play on the wheels. Okay, the fun stuff. And if you won, you got a box of candy. I mean, not just one candy bar. I mean, a whole box, like 12 or 24, whatever it was. And one time I won Bonamo taffy, which was like a really fancy taffy back in the day, besides, the saltwater taffy that's made there right in front of you. And so we played the wheel. And one time my cousin Tommy, my hero, was allowed to come down to the beach with us. Might have been more than one time, because I think one time Aunt Mara might have gotten a bungalow down there. Anyway, we would run back and forth, and I would beg Graham, give me another dollar, give me another dollar, give me another. And it was like 3 spins for a quarter or so. I know, it was really cheap, and it was a lot of fun. And in the middle of Seaside Boardwalk was this great big lemon where you get this lemon juice. And I guess it's been bought up by, the powerful people on the boardwalk now. And on the boardwalk, they had Kohr's, Kohr, ice cream. And it was like a sherbet mix. It was vanilla and orange. Oh, man, Creamsicle. Just great. I know, I died for them. And then there was the French fries. The food was just like up and down the boardwalk. You could just never, ever go back to the house if you had a pocket full of money. And after you won all your candy, I ran it back to the bungalow. Me and Tommy got a book of tickets, and we went on rides, the big ones, and the ones that were so cool, I had to have somebody older with me. And the swing that went out over the ocean, and there was a little roller coaster called the Cat and Mouse, I think. That's a really famous one that went in the ocean during Hurricane Sandy. Kind of sad for me to see that thing sitting in the ocean, because it's the first roller coaster I ever went on. So that was Seaside. And we're at 9 minutes. Oh my goodness, I didn't even talk about New Egypt. Anyway, that's the shore. That's sunburn. That's how I grew up. There was little donuts called Zeppoles. I mean, how awful food focused, huh? Food, beach, sand, Seaside. Anyway, love you guys.